A bit of a late start for me. 7:30 in the morning, Thursday, guys. People always ask me when they find out I'm 43 years old. I always tell them it's because I've always prioritized my health. I've always prioritized training, and I've always prioritized sleep. If you read in my latest book, I have a whole chapter on sleep. It's the last chapter. I don't stay up late. My point is, I try to go to bed before 9 p.m. So the secret with that is I try to go to bed the same time every night, and I try to wake up the same time every morning, Monday through Monday. So I didn't last night because we had fights last night. And so there were fights in Sydney at the Kudos Bank Arena. I went. The main event didn't start till 10:30 p.m. I didn't get back to my place till around midnight. And so I am a little bit dusty, but the saving grace is I don't drink. So it's not like I'm hungover. So I didn't drink or anything, but I usually sleep from like 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. I only slept last night from 12:30 to about 6. But here we are. I don't regret anything. Those fights were awesome. What's up, David? Yeah, those fights were awesome. Hopefully you guys, we won money. We won. I know it's not about the money. We won though. For me, it's about getting picks right. You know what I mean? Being competitive. And if you guys listen to me, if you're learning from the channel, a lot of you boys are veterans though when it comes to where to put your money on. So whatever side of the aisle you're on, if you're new to the game or if you're here just seeing a perspective from a guy on YouTube, hopefully you listen, because I do really well in these Aussie cards, boys. I don't know what it is. It's not like my knowledge differentiates because I'm American. You know what I mean? I've been watching boxing my whole life. What I think it is something I told you guys last time during the Sam Goodman live stream when we hit a 22-1, is that a lot of these Aussie cards they put together domestically, there are what you called feeder fights. They just feed sort of opponents to the A side. And we saw there's a lot of this going on last night. And we picked right with the dog, you know, so we got it right with the main event. As you guys are checking in, I'm going to take this first intro, as you can tell, the first few minutes, to kind of go over, you know, last night. I know I got a lot of messages, a lot of emails, a lot of people follow me on Instagram. If you guys are following on the gram and you want me to follow back, just send a DM and say, "What's up, Johnny? This is so-and-so from the YouTube channel." But leave your chat name as well, because some of you guys, your names don't align with your Instagram handle and your chat name. What else? So yeah, Gallon beats Sonny Bill. we were spot on with that. Terjevsky, yeah, look, none of these names, Australia boxing, these guys aren't going to jump off the paper. But because I live in Sydney and I don't live in America anymore, I used to live in Vegas. Vegas is the fight capital of the world. So I went from that to here, but I can't complain in terms of seeing fights. So whenever there's fights, I kind of break my rules a bit when I say I won't bet on domestic heavyweights. If that's in Sydney, I'm breaking the rules. GOAT, we back up. Because what's that? There was a meme going around. I don't know who started the meme, but I think it was 2 NFL seasons ago. I think it was 2 NFL seasons ago. And I'm a Cleveland Browns fan. And you guys know it's tough being a Browns fan. I've been a Browns fan since I was born. So we've never made it to a Super Bowl. You know, in 1989, 1988, I was 6 and 7. I was 6 years old and 7 years, and our quarterback was Bernie Kosar, and we had some really good teams. And we just never were able to get over the you know, the hump. But a couple years ago, when Nick Chubb had that amazing run, we won a big game to make the playoffs, and there was this meme going around. And it said, let them boys know we back up. Look at Socks, man. Thank you for the support. I appreciate it. Thanks, brother. Guys, if you happen to listen to me ever, if you happen to take my picks, whether we win or lose, you know, we always talk about it. So we back up. Especially with the parlays. So anyway, moving forward, I don't like sitting with wins too long. I don't like sitting with losses too long. It's just something how my mental has always been wired since I was a kid. That's how my dad raised me playing sports. You know, winning championships, we celebrate just one day. And then when we lose at anything, you sit with the loss, you analyze it, and then you move on. So we have a lot of work to do. I uploaded yesterday, guys, before the Sydney card, my breakdown of Seb versus Tszyu 2. We could talk about that. I know that's going to be controversial because in a 50-50 fight, there's going to be guys on both sides of the aisle. I was wrestling with, I was that close with going with Seb. I was that close from picking Fundora. And you know what it really came down to? What's up, Julius? Julius in the house. As you boys are checking in, let's get this chat flowing. Yeah, Julius. So I could see that ending 1 through 6. For me personally, I know when you guys are putting up here over and unders and parlays, I know a lot of you guys already know and you're fixed in your approach on who you're going with. So if I were to comment on Usyk and Dubois under 6, I mean, I think that definitely, because when we look at method of victories or outcomes, the only thing we have to do is find logical reason, a path to victory. How does Dubois and Usyk end before the 6th round? We can see a path to victory. We've seen it. We've seen the blueprint before. When you mix Dubois' power with Usyk's boxing acumen, and you mix Dubois' sort of limited defensive approach with Usyk's sort of volume and how they fought already I really like the knockdown prop. I uploaded that my breakdown. I love Usyk at $1.33. Let's see what he is now. I got him at $1.33. He's at $1.27 now, so money's dropping on him. 2 days ago when I put my locks together, if you remember, and I posted them on the channel, my locks are part of that parlay with Usyk on the money line, Bam on the money line, Picasso on the money line, and Pacheco on the money line. At the time, it was only paying $1.61, but for the boys who go heavy, you know, you take that $1.61 with those 4 locks. With Usyk at $1.33, he's $1.27 now. And I'm not telling you guys to go heavy, but some of you boys do go heavy. So with those 4, 10K gets you $6,000 in return. If you're betting $100, it gets you 60 in return. That's still, I mean, return of investment. You know, that's still a good return in terms of risk versus reward. Dino Mac, glad you listened. Look, nobody gets 100% right. Nobody gets 100% right. It always feels good when I help you boys out and you guys listen to me, because some of you guys on the comment section, why don't you show how much money you bet? Why don't you show how much money you win? And I was with my buddy at the fights and I was reading that comment to him and I was like, people really don't understand why, people really question why I don't show what I bet. Do you understand the psychology of that? The last thing I ever want to do is kind of make somebody feel inadequate or make somebody feel off-putting by either bragging or, you know, it's for me, the channel, I never started the channel as a betting channel. It's only been in the last few months because you guys asked me to do predictions. Exactly. So for people to ask me, why don't I show? It's shocking that you don't have that answer. But when you send me your winnings, I love that. So I get emails. I got emails, like 10 of them right now. Instagram, of you guys listening to the bets, I'll share those. And then every now and then, if somebody says, and I always do it anonymously, unless you ask me not to. The amount doesn't matter. Will. Exactly. So that 4-leg parlay I really like, right? So, you know, Bam, Pacheco, Picasso. I like Picasso, mate. Picasso's a fun little fighter. And Usyk. Now, when we're talking about method of victories, there are 2 method of victories that I also really like that we've been speaking about all week. That, like, this is one of those weeks that I haven't had to talk myself into any picks in terms of method of victories. Usually, you guys know, and if you're in the game a while, we kind of individually have to talk ourselves into certain picks. And then some fight weeks, there's no talking ourselves. It's like, bro, this is it. This is the one. So, with that being said, I really like Fierro and Pitbull to go the distance. There's a couple in that fight. Fierro, Pitbull to go the distance. I love that as a method of victory, as an outcome. And if you can get better odds, Fierro and Pitbull to go over. What's up, Socks? It's kind of just how I'm wired. And you guys see, the boys who are on the live streams every day, I'm a pretty authentic dude. It doesn't take you guys long to kind of understand how this is who I am. Like whether you're on my live stream or we're friends in real life, this is exactly how I roll. So I'm not trying to hide anything from anybody except, you know, the feeling of the last thing you want to do is make anybody in life feel inadequate. And that comes from my upbringing, man, being, you know, raised with two young parents. They were both really young. Well, my mom was young and she had 4 kids. And so I remember being a young kid feeling really inadequate in those young years. So as I got older, became an adult, it's been one of the things of my personality. It's like you never want to make a stranger or anybody feel inadequate. So that's always my goal. So there's a knockdown prop bet as well. That over under the outcome. What's up, Rando? Rando Light in the house. I shared your hit last week, by the way. You need a Cash App tip over the picks. Okay. I'm learning from you guys. I don't even know what a Cash App is. That sounds crazy, but I'll look into it. I always hear Gary talking about Cash Apps, so I'll see what that is. Do you think Fierro Pitbull will have the same or less output? Pudgems Hade, what's up, buddy? I know, yeah, you've sent me a ticket before where you've hit with like total punches. Now I got to be honest with you, Pudgems. That's not my wheelhouse. So I can't just sit here and act like I don't feel comfortable. I don't feel confident answering. Do I think it'll have the same output? But if you are a guy who bets that output, that's exactly what I scored at 77-74. If you're a guy who bets output, look at what happened with Amanda versus Katie Taylor 3 last weekend in terms of if you think there'll be an adjustment by the volume guy, because they're both volume guys, and then if there's adjustment, you'll see a different fight. Like I felt like Serrano, the biggest mistake Serrano did in this past weekend was her game plan, was her coach's game plan. Because her game plan on paper sounds smarter. Amanda, fight more cautious, fight from the outside. Don't give Katie so many opportunities to have flurries in the pocket. And she did that. So in one way, she executed the game plan, but in another, at what risk, at what cost? She didn't fight with that spirit. When you're Amanda Serrano and you're used to throwing all this output, and you fight a certain way, and then you fight a different way for the sake of, you lose the first 2 fights. You're like, well, the judges didn't like the first 2. I have to make some adjustments. You run the risk of losing a bit of yourself in there. And so to answer your question about Fierro and Pitbull, I'm not a total punch output better. I've actually never bet on that. It's something for you to kind of look into. If you think Fierro is going to make an adjustment, I know, he lost the decision, but it was a rematch because people thought it was a lot closer. Maybe go one way or the other. I don't know what you did initially. To answer your question, was it a robbery? Sonny Bill Williams, he fought cowardly. Sonny Bill fought cowardly. Goat, Ammo's not fighting this weekend. Goat. The Ammo Williams is off. That Ammo Williams fight is no longer happening. No más. No más juego. No, Goat. We have no control now. Ammo's not fighting. But so BoxRec had Sonny Bill versus Gallon 77-74. That's how I had it 77-74 Gallon, but one of the judges called it 77-74 for Sonny. That was atrocious. Sonny Bill, not calling him a coward. When you watch a certain fight break out, it wasn't a fight. He fought a cowardly fight on his back foot the entire time. Very green fighter. His best moment was in the second where he did wobble Gallon with an uppercut, didn't follow up. I thought he could have stopped Gallon in the second. It wasn't enough for a 10-8 round, 10-9. And then he got a point deducted in the fourth for clinching. Gallon executed a perfect game plan. Ripped the body, and then and Sonny Bill didn't like it, and he would clinch, and then he got a point deducted for excessive clinching in the fourth or fifth. What's up, Landslide? What's good? Spanner, that Shiraz win. We rolling. Landslide, we just hit last night too. Oh, BoxRec has a new opponent. I'm not getting options. Maurice L, the 4 locks. Pacheco money line. Bam money line. Picasso money line. Usyk money line, $1.61. I got it at $1.61 a couple days ago. If you're a heavy hitter, that's easy money. That's easy money. So that's my 4 locks at $1.61. I also have a couple method of victories. Nice, Julius. I love that. See, even though I got destroyed in the comments for picking the money line on Berlanga, I hit huge too with the fight. We got the fight not to go the distance at $1.90, Shiraz Berlanga. What was that paying for the 1-6 Shiraz? 3 times money? That had to be really good odds. Because, I mean, I got $1.90 for it not to go the distance. Bam not showing up yet. Okay. So once you get Bam on your books, a prop in that fight I really like as well is a knockdown prop bet. I like either, if you want to go either fighter to get knocked down, if you want to go over 0.5 knockdowns, whatever one is showing you better money, I like that on a separate bet. I'm not, like, I already have my 4-leg $1.61 in. I put that in on Monday. And so, but on my method of victory, like I said, Bam, Kafu, over 0.5 knockdowns, I absolutely love. I love Fierro and Pitbull to go the distance or an over if you could get that. And if you put those 2 on the same, you should get pretty good odds. I don't think he's being overlooked. I just, look, I'm uploading my breakdown of Kafu after this live stream. I'm not overlooking him. I think he's a brave fighter. I think he's talented. I think Bam's really good. And I think, you know, there's certain guys that we're not sold on. There's certain guys that the media tells us to be sold on. And every time they fight, the odds are crazy. And you're kind of scratching your head. You're like, I don't know, man. I'm not that sold on this guy. And then you overthink your bets. I'm sitting here comfortably to say that Bam's not one of those guys. I don't think I never overthink a Bam Rodriguez fight. I think he's really that dude. Yeah, I don't think Kafu comes close to beating him. Is a tougher fight than Puma. That's a crazy take. Somebody, what's my man's name? Pedro Cabrales. What's up, Pedro? I think Kafu is a tougher fight for Bam than Puma. Wow, I disagree wholeheartedly. I think Puma, that's an exciting fight. So will Bam get the knockout? If you want to sprinkle something on the knockout and not parlay it with anyone, just a side prop, it's worth a shot. Or Bam to get knocked down and win. Or I'm not taking that. I just like both fighters. Either guy to be knocked down. GOAT. I love Bam. I see him fight in person, but I'm kind of the opposite. I think Bam is slightly overrated. I think that Bam versus Inoue wouldn't be. So GOAT. Yeah, we're talking about Inoue here though. I agree, landslide. I talked about, I don't like how they're promoting the Puma fight either. You're right. You guys are right. I don't think, I don't think it's fair right now to even say Bam versus Inoue. Just in terms of the career Inoue's had and how, Bam's 25 now. Inoue's, 31? Bam's still fighting at 15. Inoue's at 22. Yeah, people get excited about that potential matchup, but in the styles, guys, that styles make for fireworks. Yeah, Bam fights at 15. You know what I mean? So, if anything, when I hear Inoue, I think Junto, to be honest with you. What's up, Carlos Vargas? As you guys are checking in, remember to like this video. A little bit of a late start today. And we're going to go live one more time, and I'm uploading Bam versus Kafu. Guys, those of you who think that Kafu could pull the upset, sell me on it real quick. Just for the sake of debate, could somebody sell me on how Kafu beats Bam? What's up, Carlos? We just covered our winnings last night. We hit with our Sydney, Australia card. We hit with the Gallon card. We hit all those picks. There you go. If you won, tip your bartender or tip your bookie. However you guys do it. I appreciate it. Even just liking this video helps me out. How good is that? I woke up in the middle of the night to check my parlay. Carlos is like, we going Sizzler. But selling a broken car there. Good picks yesterday. I appreciate you, Joseph. Let's get it. Okay, Pedro. Bam struggles with taller fighters. Kafu's 5'6", but Bam's. So we're calling, guys. Are we? So Pedro, are you gonna say a 1-inch height advantage is a taller fighter? Because isn't Bam 5'5"? It is the best feeling. Lap. My upset prop is Lappin. So your plus money prop is Lappin by TKO. People are high on Lappin. He's fighting a guy in Edmondson who's going to be there. Yeah, I wouldn't say Kafu's beating him because he's taller or longer. Yeah, Bam. Boston Mikey in the house. Beantown, holla. Yeah, I'm not discrediting your reasoning when you're saying Kafu could upset Pedro. I'm just disagreeing with you. And then the fact that you say that Kafu's taller or longer, I only think it's like an inch or so. 2-inch difference. Yeah, I don't. So when guys, do you guys know when they do inches, they do wingspan? So when you're looking at a guy's reach, they do from fingertip to fingertip like this, okay? So the reach, and then they add it together. So it's not like, if it's a 6-inch reach advantage here, it's the totality of wingspan. So it's not fist to chin. It's not 6 inches. If it's like for instance, Fundora has a 10-inch reach advantage over Tim. That one's obvious. But it's not a 10-inch reach advantage from Tim's end of his jab to Seb's end of his jab. It's a 5-inch on each side, just to clarify. So when you see they do wingspan on reach, it's not here, it's here, what they're measuring. Just to clarify on that. Guys, wherever you're tuning in, let's like this video. Let me know if you hit our picks last night in Sydney. Let me know if we checked our, we uploaded Tszyu versus Fundora yesterday. Also, as you can see, some of the guys here have the blue tick by their name. To support the channel, we have 2 tiers of membership. Johnny says Boxing Insider Level 1. Johnny says Boxing Insider Level 2. That join link is in the description below. It's a couple bucks a month. It helps the channel grow. It helps me out as well. And it gives you guys add-ons and, you know, insights and extras than just being a subscriber. What's up, Joseph? What are your locks? I heard Usyk, Bam, money line. Yep. And then I like Picasso on the money line. And I also like Pacheco on the money line. And I am flirting with a Pacheco stoppage. I'm like that close from jumping on the stoppage. I'll let you guys know tomorrow. Bam, but yeah, I don't like betting on that narrative though, Pedro. I'm not gonna say Bam's made his career after fighting faded veterans, because you know boxing takes younger guys and they carry them. You know, it's your trajectory. I'm not saying you're wrong in your overall reasoning. What I'm saying is I don't like betting my money on that narrative. Johnny, your lives have been popping. Yeah, they're growing, guys. Our channel's growing. Goat, because of you boys. Because these conversations. Carlos, would you run that by me, boy? Bam versus Kafu. Go. Yeah, over 6.5. Like, are you going to bet heavy on the over? Because, Carlos, I like the knockdown odds. If the knockdown odds are closer, I'd take the knockdown prop. Yeah, I agree, David. David Eister in the house. Listen to that guy. He's a wizard. Chilltown. I still got to link up with Chilltown. He's a freaking wizard too. Yeah, dude, the boxing online, dude, I'm glad I found my people. So like, I did not know. If I would have known that there's so many intelligent boxing heads who break down fights and talk about it, I would have started this way earlier. I thought I was the only one. I'm not lying to you. I would just do this in my own time and watch the fights. Because I'm a guy who I've always watched boxing in my house. I never go in public to watch fighting, and that includes the UFC, unless I'm at the fight. Unless I'm at the fight, I never go to a bar or a restaurant to watch UFC or boxing, because I have to be in my own surroundings, because I don't like dealing with experts in public. So, watching the channel grow and meeting, learning about guys like Chilltown and guys like Gary and you guys on my stream. You guys are my people, mate. If he gets knocked down. So yeah, Kafu, Bam, I like the knockdown. When is Yard Benavides? Isn't that November? Bam's going to have to take no damage. Did you guys see my posts about Turkey Al-Sheikh announcing that Ring and Riyadh season cards are no longer going to be pay-per-view? I just posted it. David, you're talking me into betting on Figueroa, by the way. Tomas, I'm not judging you, brother. Bam will take damage. Bill, I think there's some truth in faded veterans. Yeah, Julius, I think there is some truth. Hey, bro, I met Coach Bob Santos at church in San Jose. I live close by. And Robert Guerrero. The second ghost, Guerrero, I loved watching his career. Big over there. What's your prediction for Fundora fight? What's up, Bobby Bomac? I broke Fundora Tszyu down. It's on my fight prediction playlist. I have Tszyu winning the fight. I want to stay on the chat. I could get it. If you want to see my breakdown, it's my last upload. But David Eister is kind of talking me into taking money on the Figueroa fight, and I know I'd be going against, what's up, 79 Pro? I'd be going against my own. He's due for a loss this time. Brandon Figgy is a level above. He should be, Boston. He should be. He should be a level above. I just didn't like the way Figueroa looked against Fulton. It's like he got old overnight. He better... yeah, we talked about it all week, why I don't like Figueroa. I don't like what he looked like against Fulton. I've been saying Tszyu stops Fundora. Yeah. Johnny scares me on the 50-50 fight. Yeah. Dude, I won money, though, on let's see. I heard TJ on Gary's live. He was very confident in Joe. Clifton, all good, brother. Yeah, dude. Figueroa will lose. Yeah, right now I'm not betting on Figgy. Rewatching the Tanaka fight right now. Let's go back to a couple other fights I really like. I'm also being tempted to bet on Barrios and Pacquiao, guys. I'm also being tempted to bet on Barrios and Pacquiao. Yeah, DJ, Fulton is good, but I'm just saying, I'm talking about how Figueroa looked. I know some styles make guys, but they had fought before. No, Fulton's good, for sure. Watch Navarrete. What was that comment? Go rewatch Navarrete, Joe. Face look like Halloween mask. Yeah. So all right. Eister. David Eister, this is for you, mate. If you were to bet on one of these two fights, Barrios versus Pacquiao or Joet versus Figueroa, which one are you biting on? There's some good fights this weekend. Mario has no face swell durability. Okay. Gary's convinced Mario's going to stop Pacquiao. Did you guys see that? Gary from 3D is convinced. People acting like Johnny didn't go weeks without missing it. Yeah. Boxing Pro. Thank you, brother. I know. I had 64 in a row, guys. All the receipts are up. Thank you, Boxing Pro, for having my back on that. We hit like 64 picks in a row up until like 4 weeks ago. So come on now. I've cooled off and leveled off. I can't be 100%, boys. And the 50-50 fights, they could have gone either way. Come on, you're telling me that Puello Matias couldn't have gone either way? You're telling me Taylor Serrano trilogy could have gone either way? So yeah, the one I missed big on was the moneyline Berlanga, but we won on that anyway with the fight not to go the distance. Most legendary. Dude, it was crazy. We were out here eating. You're a beast on the fighters. I don't know. Clifton Dennis in the house. Landside Puello. Same. So yeah, the 50-50 fights, man, you just got, like last night, people were saying that Sonny won. I would have been salty, super salty if they would have given that to Sonny. That was a clear Paul Gallen victory. Yeah, I've rewatched Playo Matias twice. I don't know why I do it to myself. I rewatched it twice, and I still had Playo up too. I had Playo up too. So, David Eister, do you think that Gary from 3D is wrong when he thinks that Barrios is going to stop Manny? Johnny's that betting is betting is old. I know. Old ass fighters and gold medalists. Yeah, and two of our, Jazza? Who saw Jazza Dickens going into Turkey and beating Badagaziev? Come on, boys. That was insane. And then who's Francisco Rodriguez? We could go on and on. The bodywork Subaru did was awesome. I agree. Manny will retire on his stool. So are you boys betting on... Is anybody here going over you don't have to say, but is anybody here risking over, we'll say $100 on Barrios to stop Pacquiao? Is anyone going out of pocket over $100, which could either be a lot or not a lot, depending where you lean? I'm just interested. I see Barrios carrying pack. Barrios TKOs are worth a sprinkle. Okay. You cashed out. Nice. All right, next question. Is anybody going 100 or more on Fierro beating Pitbull? Is anybody here on this stream taking Fierro by upset over Pitbull? And I'm not talking $10. And is anyone confident? I took over. You took over 10.5, Rando. Hell no, same. Okay, Pro 9. Yeah, I'm staying away personally. I am staying away from the Pacquiao fight, but I do have action on Pitbull and Fierro to go the distance. It's one of my lock prop bets. Now, if you guys like that, what are your books giving you for odds? I love the Bam Rodriguez knockdown prop. I love the Pitbull Cruz Fierro to go the distance prop. Here we go. Dude, we're getting $2.45 for the fight. No, for the fight to go the distance, we're getting $1.52. Are you kidding me? That to me is insane. So right now, 10 grand gets you 5,000 back if you take Pitbull and Fierro to go the distance. I absolutely love that bet. So I'm just going to do a sneaky parlay. You guys can play along if you want. I'm taking Pitbull and Fierro to go the distance at $1.52. And I'm going down to Bam Rodriguez. And the Bam Rodriguez fight, if they give me a knockdown prop, which they're giving me, this is awesome. Knockdown markets. Total knockdowns. Okay, right now they're not giving me over and unders on the knockdowns. They're giving me Kafu to be knocked down, $1.17. I think Kafu's going to get dropped. So if you take Kafu to get dropped at $1.17 and you take the fight to go the distance in the Pitbull fight, that's $1.82 on the power play. So Pudgems, my book isn't giving me over under. It's just right now giving me on the knockdowns. Bam to be knocked down, $6.75. And then Kafu to get knocked down, $1.17. Do you guys see Kafu dropping Bam at all? Realistically, could you see? Because I asked the same question before Inoue fought Cardenas, and I said, does anyone see Inoue getting dropped? And you guys said no, and I went opposite, and I got him at 15-1. Right now, the odds Jesse and Kafu both being dropped is 10-1. It's 10-1. It's something to look into. If you think that both Bam, because I think Kafu's getting dropped. Because if they give me an over 0.5 knockdown prop, I'm going heavy on it. But right now they're not. And they're saying if you think Kafu and Bam both get dropped, it's 10-1. You think he's gonna play it safe? I don't think so, man. When you watch Kafu fight, who should you bet whole house on, Johnny or Victor Vallejo? Go with the chat, mate. Don't put the pressure on me, brother. Don't put the pressure on me. Pacquiao on points. Pacquiao on points. I'm not messing with that. That's insane. I mean, the odds have to be crazy. Yeah, but it's not his chin, David. It's his body. I think that Bam drops Kafu to the body. I love Bam's angles. I love his body work. That's where I'm going. So I'm taking Bam to drop him to the body. In the middle of the ring. Aggressive. Bam's body work is brilliant. Everybody says they're going to shock the world, right? Put your live semis and everything you have on. No, Acosta. Don't do it, Jose. Jose, don't do it. This is for entertainment. Guys, if you aren't having fun betting on boxing, don't bet. If you're trying to gamble to get rich, trust me on this, don't do it. That should not be your intentions. Coming on my channel, your intention should be to learn and to be entertained. But there are people who ruin their lives over gambling. Trust me on that. I used to live in Vegas. Was really close with a kid once when we were younger. Ruined his life on gambling on the tables. Pac definitely has 12 rounds in him. You think at 46 he got 12 in him? Pac-Man looked... He did. He's 46. Barrios by decision, I think. I think that's a safe bet, but I'm not messing with it. That's nice, but I think bet on knockdowns based on possibility of body shots. You don't? Okay, I do. That's kind of my reasoning, because if I'm taking knockdown props, my next logical reasoning is like, how's the knockdown going to happen? How do I envision the knockdown? And, is it a headshot? Is it a body shot? Is it a volume shot? Or is it a flurry knockdown? Is it a standing 8 count? Is it a towel being thrown in? So like, these are sort of, and DJ, and I'm friends with people who are professional gamblers. So, I'm friends with a professional blackjack player. He has a degree in dentistry. We've been friends. We've been friends since we were 14 years old. We're 43. He went to Ohio State University School of Dentistry, lives in Vegas, and he's a pro poker player. So and then on the channel, on the chat, I've met a couple of you boys who are professional boxing bettors. So that happens too. So I'm not, if you're working towards being financially stable, financially independent through boxing, I'm not trying to diminish your goals or your dreams. That's not what I'm saying to you. I'm coming from a place of intention. So Victor Vallejo. Guys, like this live stream. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Join our VIP Insider group. The link is in the chat. It's a couple bucks a month. It helps the channel grow. It helps me out. And you get access to different options that the regular subscription, if you're just subscribed to my channel, you don't get. Okay, I want to see if there's given you a... How about a knockdown prop in the Okoli fight versus Lorena? Nope, they're not giving you the option. See, the books think they're slick. Strippers and cocaine. Yeah, if we would have met earlier in life. I used to be a bit of a wild child. Not anymore. Are they going to give us a... So that's Barrios Pacquiao. Bam versus Kafu. Seb versus Tszyu. Will the fight go the distance? Seb versus Tszyu. What's your opinion on... Damn, there's a lot of questions right now, and I'm trying to stay in the pocket, but one of my locks of the week is a UFC lock, and it's Michael Johnson to answer your question. Guys, whenever Michael Johnson fights, always take the fight not to go the distance. Iman T, what's up, buddy? So yeah, Pedro, me too. I have a. You can take this however you want it. People message me all the time. Insider information. One of the boys who've been messaging me on Instagram is a boxer. He fights out of Sydney. He's in our chat all the time, but I'm not giving you guys my source. You would recognize his name in the chat, but he was in the camp with Tszyu as part of the sparring when they brought Michael Fox over here to Sydney to help Tszyu prepare for Seb. So Fox is a taller southpaw, and then he's a southpaw as well. And so what he was telling me is the fact that Tim, all camp, has been adding to his game, because when you look at his offensive bag, what's he do? He just throws the 1-2. He throws his straight punches, similar to Kelly Pavlik. I use this example in my breakdown. When you watch what Tim does really well, it's the basics, and it works for him. Sometimes it works for certain fighters. It worked for Pavlik, throwing the 1-2. It worked for Tim until it didn't work, right? But I was told that Tim has been drilling the lead hook, especially from this ortho southpaw style. What Tim has to do is, what with any orthodox fighter versus southpaw has to do, is control that front foot first, right? So as the orthodox fighter versus the southpaw, you want to win the front foot placement. You want to keep your front foot as the ortho fighter on the outside of the southpaw's lead foot, and the southpaw is trying to get his front foot on the outside of the orthodox fighter's front foot. So that is the first game. That is the fight within the fight. Once you get past range and distance, the fight within the fight is who controls that lead foot in terms of angles. Now, once that is sort of set up, and once, we'll say, Tszyu is comfortable there, he's then putting himself traditionally in line to land his backhand on the southpaw fighter. Now, granted, Seb is 6'5", 6'6", so the physics change. Sometimes the rule book doesn't apply due to things like height and reach and just genetics. That being said, what Tszyu didn't do last time was, in those exchanges, he wasn't coming up top with that lead hook. And up top, I saw one of you guys, I think it was Pedro, who mentioned the lead hook to the body. That'll be there, but I've been told that he's been drilling that up top. So that one over the top of Seb's lead hand. So we'll see. I think that's something to look at. Yeah, but not all I mean, there's guys in the Hall of Fame with no head movement. So we could dissect that as well. I mean, not every guy has head movement. You know, some fighters just don't have it. You know what I mean? It's not everyone's going to do this whole thing. You know, like, not everybody has it. It's not his style. Yeah, I'm not a Dustin Poirier fan. I hope Max stops him. I've never liked Poirier. No offense, no shade. Poirier was a guy, like, I told you about Poirier. Like, I'm not a fan of him. I need an over for Pacheco versus McCumbee. If it's an over 6.5 or below, I'm taking it. I like Pacheco on the money line, but I think Pacheco stops him. I love that. I like the fight Diego versus McCumbee, not to go the distance. If you just want to, you know, play a neutrality, maybe you think McCumbee could catch him. I think Diego stops him, but I'm not going to, you know, I think taking a method of victory is already risky anyway. So I think it's like money line risky. Any bet is risky. Money risk levels, any bet. And then you go money line. What's up, Dino? I appreciate you. Serenko Dackers. It's a good fight. And then I'll finish my thought and then I'll get to Serenko Dackers. Any bet's risky. Money line is risky. Will the fight go the distance? And then once you start picking a fighter each side, and then when you start doing punch props or specificity, how the fight ends. So even though betting is risky, I like managing my risk within the risk. So if I answered your question. So Dackers, let's see. Let's get to that real quick. I'm just checking the odds on that fight. So Vladislav Serenko is $1.14 versus Solomon Dackers. Damn, that fight's flying under the radar, isn't it? I'm just seeing who Solomon. When's the last time we saw Solomon fight? 9-1. Yeah, that's what I thought. Adaleli stopped him in his last fight in the first round. Best win. He's coming off the 2 fights with Webster. Serenko undefeated. Guys, Serenko undefeated. I think Serenko wins this fight. And I'm not telling you to do it, but it's looking like he's probably going to stop him. Dackers is coming off a stop. He got stopped in his last fight. And Serenko is a brutal guy. On the money line is a safe bet. I really like, Serenko on the money line. Was it kind of a cheap shot? I mean, where do we draw the line, though? Yeah, so to answer your question, to stick to my narrative, I think Serenko wins the fight. I don't want to get too fancy and try to start acting like I could predict how every fight ends. Nobody could do that, boys. Should be second to last, Pedro. Sox is in the house. Appreciate everybody with the blue stars, man. I appreciate you subscribing, joining the Johnny Says Boxing Insider. Those of you who haven't, if you can, it's a couple bucks a month. Guys, what's happening, YouTube just emails me every now and then and offers these things. And so they're allowing me to do more and more with my page, with my members, subscribers. So just stay tuned to the channel as you do, and we're going to be opening up more options. So I'm wrestling. So my publisher sent me 30. I have 30 copies of my latest book, and I'm trying to figure out how what to do with them. Do some sort of giveaway. What Adelaide did to Dackers, Fabio did to Adelaide, I think. These are big boys too. Serenko versus Dackers. It's at Wembley. It's on the undercard of. It's one of those fights on the undercard of Dubois versus Usyk. Victor, I'm taking no distance on Dubois fight. So Julius, I love that bet. Will the fight go the distance? No. Usyk versus Dubois. It is Thursday. Guys, my second live stream every week on Thursday is when we really talk a lot about the UFC. So if you guys are on the stream, because I've given you 2 weeks in a row 2 UFC parlays that hit. I posted them, showed you that we hit. It's always on my second live stream on my Thursday, which is your Wednesday, that we talk more about the UFC. So in a couple hours when I go live, we'll focus more on the UFC. Usyk getting the stompage. I'm just taking Usyk on the money line, guys. But I'm finding odds right now. Oh, shit. Nishant Dev is fighting. I didn't know that. Did he get added to the card? Usyk versus Dubois. Will the fight go the distance? See, I actually think the fight will go the distance. If anything, based on the money, will Usyk and Dubois go the distance? It's $2.35. So if you're taking the fight not to go the distance, you're taking Usyk to stop Dubois. I'm not, that's not a bet I like. I like Usyk on the money line. Guys, we are about 50 minutes in. I'm going to check a little bit of the UFC. I like Bam Rodriguez on the money line, and I like a knockdown prop in that fight. We talked about that. All right, so UFC, real quick. I'll get into these UFC picks a little bit more in depth in my second live stream. Dude, they got Jimmy Crute on this card. Oh, God. We know that, if anything, he's fighting Marcin Peracno. I would take the Jimmy Crute fight not to go the distance. I definitely see somebody getting stopped. Will the fight go the distance? No. $1.44 on the Crute fight to not go the distance. I'm all over that. I love that bet. Let's do a cheeky UFC parlay real quick. Prachnio versus Crute to not go the distance. Will the fight go the distance? No. $1.44. I am all over that. Michael Johnson's fight. Will it go the distance? Hell to the nah. I've been winning money for years on Michael Johnson's fights not to go the distance. And then he had that fight with Josh Emmett going into like the last 2 minutes. And I'm like, God damn it. He's Michael Johnson, of all fights to fight a smart fight, of all fights to win on points. I'm losing a lot. Damn! Starch, one punch over. I'm like, that's Michael Johnson for you. That's a Michael Johnson fight. Will Johnson versus Zellhuber. And Zellhuber is a nice striker. Oh, God. Will the fight go the distance? No. $1.66. Let's go. Just there without getting greedy, guys. You got $2.49 plus money. If you want to be practical with your money, UFC, 2 fights to not go the distance. Pragnio fight not to go the distance. Michael Johnson, $2.49. $100 gets you your money back plus 149. 1,000 gets your money back plus 1,049. Doubling your money. Those are my locks. I'm adding those 2 UFC outcomes to my locks of the week, 100%. I love those. With both guys' styles. With Jimmy Crute, the dude, you know, I don't know the stats off the head. I've seen him fight. He's a kid who fights out of Melbourne. I think he fought out of the camp with, there's this Melbourne camp. I interviewed the strength coach once, maybe 7 years ago, when Phil Daru, who is Dustin Poirier's strength. Phil Daru was the head S&C guy at American Top Team in Florida, and he did this Australian tour going to all these strength gyms. So he came to my gym maybe 5 years ago, and he brought with him the Melbourne guys. Damn it, I forget. But anyway, Crute is a guy, super athletic. He just gets stopped all the time. Dude, Adam Fugit. Adam Fugit, man, he knocked out my boy Solomon Renfro. So I thought, my buddy Solomon Renfro, I thought Saul was going to be the next big thing in MMA. And I think he fought Adam Fugit either in the PFL or in the Contender Series. And Fugit stopped him, man. I was salty. So Fugit's fights either end in stoppage. I think all of Fugit's fights either end in him winning by stoppage or him getting stopped. The Adam Fugit fight. Will the fight go the distance? No. $1.13. Add it to your parlay. I don't think Johnson's fight's going the distance. I'm just talking historically. Michael Johnson, dude, he's one of my favorite guys to watch. I've been watching him. Oh, dude, I shared on the channel the old school sparring when they were the Black Zillions. Him and Kamaru Usman. Him and Abel Trujillo. Dude, I'm an old head MMA fan. I'll go deep on you, boy. I've been watching that I'm friends with Michael Johnson's head coach, Dr. Corey Peacock. I've been watching Michael Johnson's entire career. One of my favorite moments was, dude, he was the guy that is the only guy, in my opinion, to hurt Khabib Nurmagomedov. He lands that big-ass backhand, had Nurmagomedov's legs on ice for a split moment, and then Khabib did what he does and Khabib'd him. But then also when he beat up, when he fought Justin Gaethje, Gaethje's first ever fight in the UFC. I think Gaethje came from maybe the PFL. It might have been called something else at the time. It was an instant classic. He's always in wars. And it was wasn't it Nate Diaz versus Michael Johnson? Michael Johnson went into that fight as the favorite, and that was when Nate boxed beautifully and then called out Conor. So yeah, Michael Johnson, I've been watching him since jump. He's fun to fight. He probably has one of the lowest fight IQs though of anyone I've ever seen, and that's no shade. It just shows you how big of a dog he is. And maybe don't call it a low fight IQ. Maybe you just call it a willingness to be a dog. He's not the most durable guy. That's not telling you anything shocking. You know, he cuts weight. He's not a really big stout sort of guy. Pacheco could be a little weight trained. He's been making 168 since he was 17. He's only 24 though. Diego. I like Diego in this fight, boys. I think weight trained. Look, who's he fighting? Weight trained. Have you seen McCumbee? So yeah, will the fight go? I like 3 method of victories on it, and I'm probably going to sprinkle. Martin, dude, what happened with Brendan Allen, guys? Yeah, boxing is stacked. You said DJ, you said he's fun to fight. I was ranting. Maybe I said he's fun to watch. I ain't trying to fight Michael Johnson. That boy got dogs in his hands. How do you have Usyk winning, by the way? I think he's a brilliant boxer. Yeah, I'm taking Usyk on the money line, so I'm not getting fancy. Usyk's one of my locks on the money line. So once I lock a guy up on the money line, I kind of check out cognizantly in terms of how does it end up. But initially, to get to the money line, my reasoning was he outboxes him. So with that being said, you'd have to say, on points. But he could stop him. We've seen it happen before. It's just gonna come down to whatever you guys see. Maybe Usyk gets old overnight. If you ain't seen in the super chat, Kevin Holland money line. I didn't see it. Is Holland? Damn, Holland fights like every 2 weeks. I love it. Am I getting Kevin Holland on my? Pitbull's fighting again. Patricio is that this weekend? Patricio Pitbull's fighting Dan Ige. That's going to be a goddamn war. Kevin Holland, D-Rod. I don't know, man. Didn't they fight already? Didn't Holland and D-Rod already fight? D-Rod's coming off he looked good in his last fight. Kevin Holland's a mixed bag. I really don't like betting on Kevin Holland. You never know what you're going to get. My favorite Kevin Holland moment, though, was when he stopped Jacare from his back. It was insane. If you guys want to see a super insane stoppage, it was during the COVID bubble. Holland was on his back in guard, and he stops Jacare from his back. I think it might have been an elbow, but he's dangerous. I don't like betting on Holland, though. And D-Rod, you never know. D-Rod, obviously, the thing with D-Rod, he's super one-dimensional. But we've seen Kevin Holland fight one-dimensionally. When Holland fought Wonderboy, it's like Holland thought he could beat Wonderboy by just striking. He doesn't even go for a takedown, and Wonderboy won the sort of fight that he always wins. Paulo Costa versus Kopylov. I've seen Roman Kopylov fade in fights. He's a fun guy to watch, and Paulo Costa looks like a guy who fades, but believe it or not, Paulo Costa's shown that he has a pretty decent engine. I think this fight, Paulo Costa 3-1 dog against Kopylov, mate. I mean, Paulo Costa 3-1 dog, 2-1 dog against Kopylov. If I could see Costa winning that fight, I think those are crazy odds. I can't believe Costa's a 2-1 dog. You have to hit that dude with a baseball bat. And Kopylov has won multiple fights late after he looked like he was hurt. So they're super durable. Both guys are durable. Yeah. All right, you guys are seeing eye to eye on me. And I like Max to beat Dustin. I definitely like Max to beat Dustin 100%. You little pea-head. Who's this little pea-head? when they were fighting at 45, the first time Conor and Dustin fought, I think in 2014 or 2015 or 2016, and he stopped Dustin, I think in the first 2 minutes, if my memory serves me correctly. Yeah, I'm not a Dustin Poirier fan though. I don't never bet on your wallet or your heart. I kind of know him. I know just a little bit too much personal stuff about, especially when he was younger. I'm not judging him, but how he kind of carries himself. What he's done in the past, sort of things that you want, in gym wars and stuff. Yeah, he's not a guy I cheer for. Hopefully Max stops him. But there's some fun fights, guys. There's some fun fights. Jesus. Yeah. That's why the Manny Pacquiao versus Barrios matchup has fuckery written all over it. Damn, so he was like that? Are you referring to Poirier? Yeah, dude. I mean, definitely not a dude if I'd have my little son cheer for. Dude, the version of Poirier now, the last 6 years, is kind of crazy. Because if you watch his entire career, especially with the fan base, he wasn't that dude. Yeah, Conor stopped him. I knew in round 1. I was 2014. Yeah, my memory is. I've been watching, dude. I've been watching the fight since I was a kid. Is there spider season, guys? Is that a trick question? Yeah, when Michael Johnson stopped Dustin, dude, brutal knockout. What's he done? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's 2 out of his last 5. He's 2 and 3. Yeah, I mean that was an impressive stoppage over Benoit Saint Denis, but come on, dude. How about the UFC trying to serve Benoit Saint Denis as the next guy? This French sort of spec ops guy who has no defense, who just stands in front of you and takes so much damage. And they tried selling him to the fan base like this was going to be the guy. And Poirier, fucking, god damn. That was a brutal stoppage. Barlos is taking the brown envelope. Rambler. Like I said, Rambler, Pacquiao versus Barrios has tomfoolery written all over it. So to put an exclamation point, oh shit, I got to get ready to train. I'm going to get out of here in a second, guys. I got to upload Bam versus Kafu. I'm going to post my UFC parlay today in the group. I'm also going to go live again in a few hours. If you haven't already, could you make sure you hit subscribe? Make sure you like this video. One more thing.